time together. I'm Lori Lamantia, and I'm here with the very beautiful Trisha Fisk.
Good
How
morning.
you doing? Today, of course, we're on our journey for talking about everyday prosperity. And the topic for today that Trisha and I want to really do a deep dive into with you is this idea that I can't letting go of the idea that I can't until a certain thing happens or unless a certain thing happens. It's interesting how we kind of box ourselves in with this notion I can't because my kids, or I can't because of this situation, or, and what I was feeling when I was saying I can't for myself was I can't have what I want until the people in my life are taken care of. Or, so it's this interesting thing where we say we can't, and it keeps hidden what we do want, what we would love to bring into the world, what we desire. The desires that we have tend to get subjugated to these bigger responsibilities, these bigger demands, these bigger things that we've agreed to with respect to friendships and family and teachers and all the stuff we've accumulated. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to let Trisha articulate her way she would articulate what we're doing today around this concept of I can't.
Right. For me, some of it, it's boundaries. It's this feeling that, I was taught that I'm supposed to be responsible for everything and fix everything, and it's my job to be the strong one and stand up. And it's I find that by focusing on that and following that principle, I end up using a lot of my energy towards something that isn't isn't taking care of my needs or taking me to the places I want to go.
Mhm.
I get caught up in families. For me, it's family stuff right now because there's a lot going on. Um, and it's taking care of a family member who is struggling mentally, and trying to take care of not only what are we going to do with this family member, but what about their home and their pets and things like that, which have all kind of been left behind. And um, my first thing is to always, oh, I've got to step in and I've got to jump in and I've got to tell everybody what to do and make plans and take over, because that's kind of what I was taught as a child. And
Right. It's your
learn
responsibility to hold space and make it all
exactly
right for people. And
right. And I'm really having to work at learning to say, no, that's not mine. I need to go to the left, while you go to the right. I need to take care of my things. Um, and it's hard to do. It takes getting over that. I can't have this until I've taken care, till I've done that thing. And it's right. It's default mode. It's just, like I said, it's something I learned from my mother. That I'm a strong person, so I should jump in and take care of stuff. And um, that's wonderful, but I should really be taking care of myself right now.
right. And it's not, and for the people thinking, oh, that's selfish, that's self-centered, and it's really not, because it's
No,
also respectful of yourself and the other people's strength. If you're there being strong for them, they don't get to the experience of being strong for themselves.
exactly. And it also, if I don't trust them to step in and be strong, I'm really
Perpetuating.
stripping them
Yeah,
of
right.
their
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Right. I'm stripping them of their power. I'm not acknowledging that they're strong people too. I'm diminishing them, if you will.
Right.
And
Right.
right. So I'm not really supporting them. I'm
Right.
diminishing.
Right. And no guilt around that. I think this is all just really big awarenesses that we're talking about, and it's awareness about as we become clearer about where our energy's going, because energy is abundance, right? It's at the core of how we apply our energies, how we invest ourselves. And, there's all this abundance, but if we're so busy being responsible and, doing the old paradigms, all the abundance and different options for how other people can handle things, that it all just gets kind of sidelined is what it feels like, or put to the back burner because we're doing the same old thing and trying to get different results. And that's, what the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing, hoping for something,
Right.
a different result. No, trying something different, especially with your energy is, and I totally believe as we become and use our energy differently, it has a butterfly effect. It has the effect of as we change, everything around us changes because the energy around us changes. And it makes, and it has a ripple effect, is what it feels like to me. As we change, the ripple effects are felt by everyone, even, and we don't have to say anything. We just know
No.
differently inside of ourselves.
Right. And what we're actually doing is empowering others by
Right.
stepping back and allowing them to step into what do they really want?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's so
So
important, because and it's weird because I think when you start to hear, well, what do I really want? Then you have those messages, well, I want this as long as they this and them that, and it's amazing how much tethering we have to our want is connected to the other people's agreement about what we want.
that's an important piece of this. Absolutely. Yes.
And so, and I guess it feels like a time, excuse me. Oh, it's interesting. I'm getting a gurgle right when I'm supposed to talk about whatever the thing is that I interesting, excuse me. And what brought this up for me this week was I've been working through an issue, but my thing has been with not my family, but with some friends that my dear, dear, dear friends from forever, and we've kind of gotten into a joint venture together, and it's not really working out. And I'm feeling like I want to end the joint venture. And they're like, no, absolutely not. We like this venture. And for me, it's not a fit, right, in the way it is. And the messaging that I've gotten, which was fascinating because you don't think this would happen with grown adults, is that I'm acting too much like a parent. I'm parenting them by holding space and not letting them, like we just talked about, have their sovereign grown-up experience of owning their responsibility, owning their power, owning their abundance capabilities. And so having to step back and the reason why I'm afraid to step back, and it's the reason why all of us have a reason why behind the I can't is because I'll lose them as a friend. I'll lose them as a family member. I'll lose my job, my position. I'll lose the respect of my boss, whatever it is. And I'm not saying you have to do anything drastic in the world, but it's worth taking a look at the underlying reasons why you're thinking you can't, is the point of my story. What is really
Right.
behind the I can't? Because we have a good reason. We're trying to keep ourselves safe, or we're trying to keep relationships in play. And so I really want to honor that whatever reason is behind I can't is worth your love and compassion and be now I want to put a hug around it. I want to turn it into a stuffed animal and I want to hug it because the reason behind that is beautiful and it's something that we need to it's that piece of our ego or that piece of us from a little child that's like, hey, I did this because I thought it was going to be I was responsible because I thought it would it would make things better. It would make me safe. It would make us a family. It would whatever. And that, and when I looked at it from a parent perspective, it's probably one of the hardest things to do as a parent is to tell your child, I'm not going to help you with this one. And then watch them have a full-on fucking meltdown, right? Um,
Right.
and you
But
got to,
it's critical if you want them to grow up and learn how to make those decisions. You have to step back and let them fail sometimes, no matter, even though it's really hard to do.
it's so hard. It's scary. It's beyond hard. It's scary because, in this day and age of ghosting and, you know, I'll just not no contact you. It's scary to think you'll lose, you've got an investment of all this time and then all of a sudden, poof, it could be gone. And interestingly enough, it is October and we just went through a full moon. And I think it's really asking us, what are we, can we be okay with letting some of that go so that the new stuff can walk in? Because if
Hmm.
there's no space for it, it can't come in.
Right.
If there's no
It's
space for the abundance, it can't come in, even though it's standing there, knock, 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 bang, bang, bang.
right. Well, there wouldn't be the agitation if it wasn't there knocking to come in, or at least trying to get your attention. So sometimes we need to be contemplative, and not just trying to avoid it or step into what this liminal space where everything's perfect, but actually open our eyes and look at it and take it on.
Yeah, and
Right.
ground it, bring it through us,
Right.
and take the uncomfortable or what seems like it is an uncomfortable step forward because the I can't is I need the other person or I need the situation to be different, and then I can be different. And
Right.
that's backwards. It's I'm going to be different, and then the situation can be different
Right. What was it you used to always say to me? Nothing can change if
until
nothing
something right,
changes. Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Until something changes. Right.
Yeah.
I've heard you say that a million times. Right.
And we kind of try and make change with our actions sometimes, but changing your energetic position on something is a big change. Going
Yes.
from I can't to I'm not going to, or I can't. And I wrote a big list of I can't untils and I can't unless, because I think or I can't because if you can forensic underneath the why you're saying I can't, you're giving yourself tremendous information and tremendous choice points around
Yes.
setting up your boundaries, like you started with boundaries. Well, why would I draw this boundary or why would I have this boundary? It's because I'm trying to honor whatever it was that's underneath. And if you choose not to, at least you're doing it with full consciousness.
Right. Right. And then it's a choice. It's not unconscious behavior and just a repetitive pattern that you have. You're actually choosing, I see what I'm doing and I'm going to follow through with it because I believe that's the best thing in my interest. Right.
Like with this partnership, I have said in the back of my mind, I'm not going to blow it up. I love these people. I wanted this collaboration to happen. So I put off doing and I made a conscious choice. I'm gonna try and set some other boundaries, set some other agreements. And I know I feel like those have not been honored by the other partners. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm at a different point. And the reason why I'm making my choice is not to hurt them. It's more to I know how detrimental resentment, regret, and rejection can be. I know, or the energies of regret and grudging and resentment suck insane amount of energy, and I do not want to lose my energy into, and that's what was happening. Okay, I'll let this continue on, but there was a resentment building and regret of why did I get into this, and grudging, and and I don't want that for me. And I get the other partners now, they got to face the the feel
Right.
the R's, regret, resentment, rejection. And I'm sorry for that. And I'm trying everything in my power to not have that happen, but that's not my choice for that. That I can't make them choose not to resent me. I can't do that. I would love for them not to. It's my highest prayer that they don't, but something's got to change, and something's going to change.
Right.
So
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think
it
this
takes
is,
courage.
it
It
does
takes courage.
so
Right.
much courage and so much self-love and self-respect to even do
Right.
this.
My understanding that one of the things with this last full moon we had was about courage. One of the key words was having courage, for whatever is showing up in your life. And when I did my own meditation, the word that came up for me was actually have the guts to do this. It
Oh,
was
and
a,
there's the
so it was a,
Jake, or there's the BB.
right.
There's the
Have the
B.
guts to do this.
Yeah, it takes guts. It takes fortitude.
It
It,
does.
yeah, wow. Uh, and and what I'm trying to feel for everyone as we say this is I honor for everyone who's going through something that they're struggling with, and they're saying, I can't make these changes because there's too much at stake. Oh man, I totally feel that for you. And I totally hope that that's not going to be that's not going to be a reason not to make the change. I wrote down, not to take belabor this a little bit, but I wrote down a bunch of reasons why we might say I can't until and unless. Um, and I wrote down these ones, and these are mine, but I think it's going to be interesting if you take a moment and write down the reasons why you think you can't. I put, I can't until I get good enough. I can't until I have sacrificed more. I can't because I this is my role is to be a responsible placeholder. This was interesting. I can't until I get thin, which
Mm.
until I lose weight, until I get educated, until I get more money, until I get to a certain age. Unless I can't unless until I get to a certain status. I can't until I do this or that or this or that. So and everybody's got their own, I can't until everybody's taken care of or my kids are grown or whatever. And so really, and I just threw those out, but I wanted to say that there's a lot of interesting reasons why we think we can't, and to have the courage to look at those, and
Hmm.
the courage to say, and the clarity, it's not time. I get it. I respect that. But the weird thing that happens is we put off what our desires are, because we've been talking a lot about conscious creating. Well, if you've got a giant energy drain of I can't until, the conscious creating, the dripping is a little, it takes away from the energy to make available for that.
Right. And you're actually creating what you don't want to create.
Bingo, yeah,
Right.
right. Bingo, bingo,
Right.
bingo. Right. You're actually
Right.
putting energy into more of the same.
Right. But you don't want.
Yeah.
So it's this contemplative piece of it, of actually being willing to look, write down things, let it come up, is it's really critical. It's really important
And it's
in
valuable.
sorting out. Yeah,
Yes.
it is totally valuable. And it's always, my experience is it's always, I'm always surprised.
Surprised. Yeah, when I wrote, I
Yeah.
can't until I get thin, I was like, what? But it's true.
Right.
For years, it was like, you're too fat for that. What?
Right.
But that was something I was told, or I saw, not told, I see in, when we were growing up, thin was in.
Oh, that was a really
Curvy,
big deal.
yeah, curvy,
No,
you're next to, you might as well not
no.
exist. You might as well
Right.
just
No.
walk, give it up.
Right. No, curvy was not popular,
Oh,
right?
right.
No, no, no.
Um, and one other piece, because this will lead into what we're going to talk about next week, and we're talking about people listening to, that are listening to us understand the parent-child model, even if I didn't realize I was parenting these partners. So we all have parenting experience on some level. I parent our business, and the my teacher said the growth from the parent paradigm is the sage. And so I've been thinking a lot about, and I put into this space that people think about as I graduate from parenting to sage, and I'm going to use the word graduate, as I up level to sage, what does that mean? How does that feel? Because there is a layer, I still have compassion for my friends. I don't want to pull my sword out and whack them out, and do all the things I know how to do. So that sage thing, how do I have my boundaries and have my sovereignty while still being compassionate, loving, and caring? I can do all those things, but not as a parent taking care of things that aren't mine anymore.
Well said. Well
So
said.
next
And of
week we're
course,
going to
I
talk
have,
about that, right?
yeah, step being the stage. And of course, I have a poem that I want to share. It's Mary Oliver, who's one of my favorite. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Mm, I love that poem. Oh my God. Don't have to crawl on your knees, right?
Nope,
No sacrifice. Oh, that's the other big one. Sacrifice is required.
no
Mm,
sacrifice is required.
that's a
No.
podcast. We'll work on that one too. But for now, the little bit or the deep dive into what's behind I can't, right?
So be well and talk to you all next week.
Yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Love you.
Okay.